It was exactly 10:03 a.m. when my phone lit up in the darkness, the cold blue glow slicing through the silent bedroom like a blade. Her message arrived with a casual cruelty that felt intentional. "Don't wait for me tonight." No explanation, no apology, no concern, just a command, like I was an afterthought, like I was a burden she had to manage from afar. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering, not knowing whether to reply, delete, or scream. But none of those options fit the moment. Something inside me tightened instead, a slow, creeping coldness that didn't feel like pain. It felt like clarity. The blinds were still drawn. The bed still smelled faintly of her lavender conditioner, but everything felt different, heavier, hollower. The silence of the house, once peaceful, now echoed with absence. I didn't reply. Not yet. I sat up. My back ached from another night of restless sleep. My hands trembled, but not from heartbreak. From something sharper, something still. I stood up and walked barefoot through the hallway. My feet brushed over the soft rug she had picked out last year. I remembered how she'd laughed in the store, insisting we get the overpriced one because it felt like clouds. It didn't feel like clouds now. It felt like a lie. Everywhere I turned, there were traces of her coat on the hook, her coffee mug in the sink, the book she'd never finished lying face down on the couch. A home built for two, now haunted by only one. I walked into the kitchen and stood in front of the fridge, but I wasn't hungry. I opened it anyway. There it was, her favorite oat milk, untouched. Her half of the fridge looked like a museum exhibit. All show, no life. I closed it slowly. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. Something in me had changed. And I didn't fight it. Back in the bedroom, I sat down on the edge of the bed and stared at my phone again. That one message sat there like a bullet in my inbox. And for the first time in months, I felt something powerful. Relief. Not because I didn't love her, but because I finally had proof. Cold, undeniable, emotionless proof. She didn't care if I waited. She didn't even pretend anymore. She thought I'd sit here again like a good husband and take it, like I was too weak, too scared, too dependent to face the truth. She was wrong. I got up and opened the hallway closet, pulled down the gray suitcase with the broken zipper she kept meaning to replace. I carried it to the living room, unzipped it, and laid it open on the coffee table. She wanted me not to wait. Fine. Let's see how it feels when no one waits for her. I sat down at the dining table and opened my laptop. I had everything I needed: emails she left open, synced messages from our shared cloud account, receipts, hotel bookings under another name. I'd known for weeks. I'd been patient, methodical. Now I just needed to finish. Before I started typing, I finally replied to her message. "No one's waiting." Then I turned off my phone. The house stayed quiet. But now the silence belonged to me. The laptop stayed open on the dining table, its soft glow lighting up the edges of the empty room. I didn't touch the keyboard yet. Instead, I stood and began walking through the house like I was touring a place I was about to sell a stranger, cataloging memories instead of living inside them. The living room was first. Our engagement photo still sat on the mantel. She wore that champagne dress that made her feel too fancy. And I was in a stiff borrowed suit, smiling like I had already won at life. Back then I was 27, broke, working double shifts at the warehouse, believing love could replace sleep, ambition, and security. She had looked at me like I was safety itself. I turned the frame face down. The couch where we'd binged crime shows still had the permanent sack from where she always sat, curled into my side, cold feet sneaking under my thigh. Once, that closeness felt sacred. Now the cushion felt like evidence, proof that affection can't stop betrayal. I moved into the hallway. Each step felt deliberate, like I was dismantling emotional traps one room at a time. In the bathroom, her perfume bottle sat on the counter, half full, dusty. I picked it up, twisted the cap, inhaled the familiar floral scent. My stomach didn't flutter. My pulse didn't spike. Nothing. I set it back without ceremony. That realization hit harder than anger would have. I wasn't numb. I was free. In the bedroom, the walk-in closet stared back at me like an inventory of her reality. Endless dresses organized by color, coats she rarely wore, shoes she complained made her miserable but packed anyway just in case. Her half dwarfed mine. Always had. I used to think it meant she was expressive. Now I saw it for what it was. She was always prepared to live somewhere else. I pulled the suitcase from the living room and brought it into the bedroom. Methodically, I packed her things not sloppily, not with spite. Folded blouses, rolled jeans, set shoes heel to toe, dropped makeup kits into mesh pockets. I didn't touch anything sentimental. No handwritten cards, no framed memories. Those were mine now, not hers to carry away. The act felt strangely ceremonial, like severing cords one by one. Halfway through, I paused at the bedside table. Her phone charger lay coiled next to the drawer where she'd once hidden notes from me lies in pastel sticky form. I didn't open them. I no longer needed more proof. Everything I needed was already saved digitally, time-stamped, and undeniable. The suitcase zipped closed with an abrupt final click. I carried it into the living room and placed it on the coffee table, right where she would see it the moment she walked in. Then I returned to the dining table and sat down. Only now did I open the laptop. I organized folders calmly, chats organized by date, images sorted, PDF transfers finalized for the attorney I'd already consulted quietly weeks earlier. Tonight wouldn't be a confrontation. Tonight was simply the emotional receipt being delivered. I didn't need her to confess. The truth stood on its own. I leaned back in the chair and looked around the house once more. This time not as a grieving husband but as someone preparing to leave the past intact behind him. I opened my phone again, one unread. Notification blinked back, typing bubbles starting and stopping beneath her name. I didn't open it. She no longer mattered enough to interrupt. The work. It was just past midnight when the front door flung open with a loud, clumsy thud. Daniel? Her voice cut through the silence, high-pitched, trembling. She wasn't calm. She wasn't casual. Whatever confidence she had when she sent that text this morning, it was gone now. I didn't move. I stayed in my chair, laptop closed, the screen cold. The only light in the house came from the hallway where she stood, the suitcase on the coffee table casting a long shadow toward her feet. Her eyes darted to it. Her mouth opened slightly. Then she saw me. What is this? I didn't answer. She stepped forward, arms crossed tightly like armor. Are you seriously doing this right now? After a long day? I told you. You told me not to wait. That silenced her. She stood frozen, like the words had struck her physically. Her face was pale. Her eyes scanned mine for some sign of softness. There was none. Daniel, please. I didn't mean it like that. I just needed space. Her phone buzzed in her hand. A name lit up on the screen. Alex. The air cracked. She moved instinctively to silence it, but the damage was already done. Her entire body stiffened as if electricity ran through it. She looked up, mouth trembling. You went through my phone? I didn't say a word. I didn't have to. Her panic told me everything. Another buzz. Another call from Alex. She shoved the phone into her purse like it might bite her. Let me explain. No. Her shoulders dropped, lips parted. The desperation started leaking through her performance. Daniel, I don't know what you think you saw, but nothing happened. He's just a friend from work. You know how it is. You're always working. We don't connect like we used to. I needed someone to talk to, someone who, go check the bedroom. She blinked. What? I didn't repeat myself. When she finally turned and stepped down the hallway, I heard her breath catch before she even reached the doorway. Then the rustle of paper, the click of the lamp, the sound of truth arranging itself in her hands, a folder set neatly on the bed, her own digital trail printed and labeled, text messages, screenshots, photos, call logs, calendar entries, reservations, hotel receipts, a printed photo of her laughing outside the Marriott with Alex's hand low on her waist. There was no screaming, no denial, just the thump of her knees hitting the edge of the mattress as she collapsed. The weight of her choices finally slamming her to the ground. I stayed seated. She returned minutes later, eyes red and swollen, holding the folder like a loaded weapon pointed at herself. How long have you known? She whispered. Long enough. She started to cry then. Real tears, gut-wrenching sobs that bent her over, hands gripping her knees. I was stupid, she sobbed. It meant nothing. I love you. I swear to God, I love you. Still, I said nothing. Then she looked up and noticed the TV screen behind me. The paused security footage glowed faintly in the dark, her figure on camera sneaking out of the house nights ago, giddy, adjusting her dress in the reflection of the hallway mirror. Who took that? She gasped. I let the silence hang. That's when she realized. It was you. I met her eyes. You knew, she whispered. this whole time. And now, finally, I spoke. You told me not to wait. So I didn't. Her sobs turned to convulsions. Her body shook, but I didn't move toward her. I didn't comfort her. That wasn't mine to give anymore. She dropped to her knees, clutching my legs like a child. I have no one else. I gently removed her hands from me. The suitcase waited beside her. Her cries filled the room, echoing off the walls. I walked past her, opened the front door, and stepped out into the cold night air. I didn't slam the door. I closed it softly. And for the first time in months, I could breathe.